The second model introduced in the Ghost in the Shell collaboration, it is KKS01 Muscle Borg, with a kit of radar sight, Gatling, ghost shot, biped legs, and the leg ability of charge shot, which passively buffs the success and power of all equipped shooting parts on the build. Now, honestly, of the Ghost in the Shell collaboration bots that we got, I'd honestly argue that for males, Muscle Borg is definitely the big ticket item, even if it is only just one part on him. Radar Sight is a support-based skill that grants a 30% buff to success across the board for himself and for all allies on the field, as well as negating any conceal or stealth effects, which basically allow you to deal pierce damage or AoE damage as normal without getting interfered by or something that negates it. Gatling is a standard shooting attack that is a scattered AoE, so it will damage one part normally and then two other parts at random at 1/3 of your damage. And Ghost Shot is essentially just the shooting variant of Ghost, so it has the very high base damage output, the defense ignore, and then the damage bonus relative to your Metaforce gauge. Now, for high shooting power, Muscle Borg definitely and absolutely has it, but he also does have, on top of that, he also does have a leg ability to further buff that and even higher. However, he does have a number of particularly glaring weaknesses that make using him on the field very tricky at best, even if he does have the aesthetically powerful look that does befit the name Muscle Borg. As a pure set score, I honestly and unfortunately would have to rate him at about a 4 out of 10. He does have very abysmal leg stats, unfortunately, about 476 for the mobility, 464 for evade, meaning that he's going to be hardly dodging or grazing anything at all. A melee resist of 366 means that when he's up close and personal, he's going to have a very difficult time, and he's going to struggle a lot. But the shoot resist of 1453 honestly does kind of make up for it. And one other particularly forgiving factor that Muscle Borg does have going for him is the fact that he also is very high in the armor department, so very tanky. So he can tank a number of pretty tough hits as long as they're from incoming shooting attacks without it easily crippling him. Gatling also does have a relatively high crit rate, meaning that aside from the likelihood of the hit landing, you are going to increase the possibility of landing a critical hit for some extra damage. And of course, with Ghost Shot, you can generally never go wrong with it on any particularly high damaging and dedicated shoot nuker. One other particularly big weakness that Muscle Borg does have is that the fact that he also is triple heavy, meaning that he also is very subject in many cases to gravity punish, say from break, press, break hammer, or wide break. It is going to very easily and absolutely cripple him if he takes even one hit from one of those attacks. As a mixed parts, however, I would rate him significantly higher at an 8 out of 10, exclusively for his left arm. If you managed to pull for Muscle Borg when the collaboration went live and you only pulled the left arm, I'd say you could very easily call it a win, because that is the big ticket item on him, and even I use it on my dedicated shoot nukers for that defense ignore and the damage bonus, and it's a part you can generally never go wrong with using.